Joining us is Javier Manjarres, managing editor of the Shark Tank, which is shark-tank.com, and Rabin-Havt, former advisor to Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, also host of The Agenda. Gentlemen, let's discuss what's going on right now in Kansas. A real head-scratcher. I think we can all agree on that point. Republicans and in that state are facing the real possibility of independent Greg Orman snatching up the seat that Pat Roberts has held for quite a while. Matt Bennett, a veteran of Democratic campaigns, may have put it best. Anyone who predicted that last year was either psychotic or psychic. So how did this happen, guys, where Republicans investing all this time? We've seen everybody from Sarah Palin all the way over to Jeb Bush on the Republican political spectrum going in there stumping for Roberts. But how is he in this position where he could lose this seat? We'll start with you, Javier.
Well, look, I mean, this is typical establishment backing their own. For Sarah Palin to even go to campaign for Roberts is interesting because she's anything but establishment. But look, we've seen this coming. The Republicans will pour all their money into who they feel should be the candidate. Look, there's time for new blood. There's always time for new blood, and they chose to crown or to nominate again this incumbent in Roberts. And again, he's not popular. He's like with any candidate or sitting elected a member of Congress or wherever, they're going to lose. They're going to lose favorability amongst their voting bloc. And this guy is coming. This other Democrat's coming in, and he's taken away from Roberts because he seems like he has new blood, a new excitement, or he brings excitement to the race. And Roberts is just an old fart, to say the least.
Oh, well, let me ask Ari about this. Ari, you're a Democrat or a progressive here. You don't really technically have a dog in this fight. Orman is promising to caucus with whichever party winds up winning the Senate, should he go on to win here. What's your take on Orman? And do you think that a loss for Pat Roberts could also be a loss for the Democratic Party as well?
Well, I don't think Democrats were going to win in Kansas, so a loss for Pat Roberts, you're going on a slim shot here. Look, I think people, if the president is unpopular, then Congress is 4 times as unpopular as the president. I think Jody Ernst's former occupation is more popular than the president, frankly. I mean, than members of Congress, frankly. And Pat Roberts is suffering from that.
All right. Well, let's also talk about what's happening in South Dakota, because that one's kind of gotten a little strange here as well. It was supposed to be a safe win for Republicans here, but now it's a potential concern here. Governor Mike Rounds is leading independent Larry Pressler and Democrat Rick Weiland here. What do you think is going to play out in this race, and what does this tell us as a whole about the electorate right now?
Well, I don't think it should be considered a safe race for the Republicans to pick up, because look, historically, who held that seat for 8 years? Liberal Democrat Tom Daschle, and he got beat by John Thune, who is not considered the most conservative of all senators. He's more of a moderate. So I don't see this being a surprise. It's close, and Karl Rove says that this may come down to the wire, but the Republicans may squeak it out, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Democrats won.
All right, let's follow up on Karl Rove here real quick, and I want to go to our lightning round. And for you, Javier, Karl Rove predicting that the GOP is barely going to win back the Senate. Why is it not more of a tsunami, a sweep into power like we saw in 2010?
Just simply because it doesn't make any sense. Democrats are going to put their money in just like Republicans are. At the end of the day, Republicans will come out on top, but I don't think it's going to be a slam dunk as people have always thought it was going to be.
And Ari, what's the Democratic Party doing right now that's tightened up some of these races?
Look, I think, frankly, we're running good candidates. There's lots of money being spent, and voters don't like what's going on in Washington right now, and they're trying to figure out who to blame for that.
All right, and one more question for you guys with about 30 seconds left to go. I want to talk about one governor's race in particular, and that's the one in Wisconsin. Scott Walker is still facing a pretty tough challenge. Why is that, Javier?
Again, it's a toss-up state. There's a lot of Democrats, a lot of Republicans. They tried to beat him before. He's been damaged over the years with their campaigning, but he'll win.
All right, and Ari, do you agree with that assessment? Does Scott Walker pull out this Wisconsin governor's race?
No, I actually don't think he does. I think we'll see a Trek bike in the Wisconsin governor's mansion.
A Trek bike in the Wisconsin governor's mansion. An interesting prospect. Rabin-Havt, Javier Manjarres, thank you guys both for being with us, talking politics as we like to do here from time to time on America's Forum. Much more to come here on the program. I'm John Bachman, sitting in for J.D. Hayworth today. We'll be right back after this.